Hi everyone. This is my second video using my new contraption going down at the table. So welcome, or welcome back. And I am doing a tag today created by Maureen at Waves of Your Soul Tarot. And it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 decks. So I thought it was a fun tag. So I thought I'd give it a whirl. I hope my sound is better than last time. I have my headphones in, so hopefully that helps. Okay, I'm going to try to do this by memory because I can't really reach my computer that has the prompts on it. But the first one is 5 decks I guess my memory isn't that good. So let's see. 5 decks that made me fall in love with reading the cards. Okay, so, I mean, this is like a no-brainer for most people, but it's the Rider-Waite-Smith, and it's specifically this one. It is one that I found on Etsy, and it is just really antique-y looking, like old looking. I actually, when I first started doing tarot, tried to create a deck myself that looked like this, just from staining with tea and coffee. Didn't go too well, got very wrinkly, but it was cool looking. But this is the deck that finally made me fall in love with the Rider-Waite-Smith and tarot in general. And I love it. I actually don't use this one too often. And I'm not exactly sure why, because it's beautiful. I usually grab the Tarot Vintage, which is actually a lighter, ambiance color scheme. It's very light, and I guess that's just where I'm at right now. Before that, it was bold. Like I wanted really bright, bold colors. And this is actually my replacement for the Sun card. I think I removed the Sun card just because I didn't like the baby. And so I replaced it with that one. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, like, you all have seen this deck, so I don't have to show you much. But I liked this version above all else in the beginning. So, yep. So that's the Rider-Waite-Smith that made me fall in love with reading. So that's probably the primary deck. The next one, I don't read with at all because I ruined it. I left it out in the rain. And so like a chunk of the cards are warped. And so it makes shuffling and reading very difficult. I really should give it a whirl and try. Maybe if anyone has any recommendations for warped cards, maybe I could just try to iron them. I don't know. But this is the Darkness of Light Tarot. And I just fell in love with this deck. Like this was one of my first indie decks that I fell in love with. Not one of my first indie decks. I had several, and I wasn't good at knowing what I liked. And so I would just impulsively buy these decks and then I would trade them. So, but pretty soon, not too long, I found this one and I'm like, oh, I love it. I do love it. It's gorgeous. It's very, very emotive and atmospheric, and that's what I love about it. I think that's my taste. That's my jam. I like things that are, emo, and could appeal to my inner goth, and this one did. And I just think it's stunning. It is such a stunning piece of art. And yeah, so I recommend this deck. Unfortunately, I think it's out of print. I actually have it on my wish list, and I've had it on my wish list for months, and I'm always going back and checking to see if it's in stock. It always says it's out of stock. So I don't know if it's like out of print completely or if it's going to be coming back. Don't know. But love this deck. But yeah, I don't know if you can see the warps yeah, it's pretty warped. Okay. Excuse me while I put it away. Okay, the next one that made me fall in love, and this might surprise people just because I don't really talk about it much, but it's the Game of Thrones tarot. Whew, I just hit my camera. Sorry about that. It's the Game of Thrones tarot, and this is a deck that really showed me like the creativity that can be done behind tarot. That you could take a whole story, you know, a storyline, a whole epic of stories, and turn it into, you know, the Rider-Waite-Smith. And I just thought that was amazing. And I love Game of Thrones. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And so this really spoke to me. I love it so much. Unfortunately, they released it a little too early, I think, because there's characters that aren't in here that should be in here. I don't believe the Hound is in here. And I believe the Hound should be in here somewhere. And Daenerys is in here multiple times. So there's like a lot of characters that could have been put in here. See, like the Night King is in here twice. There she is again. So, yeah. But despite its flaws, I love it. It speaks to my fantasy loving heart. Oh, I love Tyrion. Yeah, so this is, yeah, the Game of Thrones tarot. I just think it's amazing. It's very well done, very well done. Despite its flaws, it's very well done. Okay, the next one. The Textured Tarot. This showed me the flexibility in the Rider-Waite-Smith, like going, like sort of like stretching beyond the normalness of Rider-Waite-Smith, you know. This just shows me like the creativity, the artistic creativity that can be done with collage. So this was probably my first, this is probably my first collage deck. I think it was, to my knowledge. And I think it just really spoke to me. Like it's not for everybody. Apparently, like some people are just like, eh, or the cardstock just makes them dislike it so much that they can't really favor it. I've gotten used to the cardstock. I don't like it, but I've gotten used to it. And so it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. But it's creative and it stretches my imagination, and I love the colors in it. See, like I have like different sides to myself. I have like my inner goth and my inner emo that really likes the dark atmospheric stuff. But then I also like bold like this as well. And I love the idea of like showing everyday things. And well, that's not really every day, but you get what I mean. Sort of not medieval stuff. And so yeah, I love this, and I think this was my first deck that had two women as a couple in it, so that was cool. So yeah, that's the Textured Tarot. So that was 4. And the 5th one is an Oracle deck, and that is the Les Vampires by Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett-Griffith. What this turned me on to was I just loved the prompts. I loved the vampiness of it. I loved the big eyes. And the prompts just like really spoke to me. Like they just, like I would pull one and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're putting down. And it was just eerie. It was just eerie, like how frequently I would pull a card, and it would speak to what I was mulling over. So, in that way, it was a bit startling that I could have a card that, like a deck that does that. And so this is probably like a first deck that did that for me. And I don't remember when I got this. And I don't remember if it was one of my first Oracle decks. I have terrible memory, so my apologies. I don't remember when I got it, but I love it. I love the Interview with the Vampire is like one of my favorite movies, and I love it. Like actually this October and into November, like over Halloween, I'm going to New Orleans to go to an Anne Rice memorial party in New Orleans. So yes, that's going to be exciting. I'm excited. So yeah, that is Les Vampires. Okay, that's done with the first prompt. That's the 5 decks. And I'm already drowning in decks here. And let's see what I can do here. I think I'm just going to put it on the floor. Okay. The next prompt is 4. And it's 4 decks that challenged me in a good or bad way. Okay. Moon Power Tarot. This is a freaky deaky deck. It's freaky. And I feel like a lot of the cards have nothing to do with the Rider-Waite-Smith meaning. And I'm a Rider-Waite-Smith girl. So that's what I read. That's what I'm comfortable with. And it's just really out there. It's really weird. And it's just different. And so it's very difficult for me to read with it just because of how different a lot of the cards are. Not all of them. Some of them are pretty on point with the Rider-Waite-Smith, but some of them are not. And I actually have a difficult time getting intuitive hits off of this deck. Like with the Textured Tarot, the intuitive hits came pretty easily. With this deck, not so much. But I like it. I like the look of it. I want to support art like this. And it's very good art. I mean, it's very cool. But I'm not sure, like I never pull it out to read with it. Like, and when I do, I end up putting it away because I'm like, I don't know how to read this. Yeah. So like this one, the Magician, so obviously the Magician, like this one, so obviously the Tower. And that's interesting right there. Very nostalgic. The Chariot on a rat. Yeah, like cards like this, like 9 of Cups, she's just pleasantly standing there or staring at you. Page of Cups. That's cool. So yeah, I need to give this deck another shot. I do. Like since I put this away the last time, I think I've really grown as a reader, and so maybe it wouldn't challenge me in a bad way anymore. Maybe it'll challenge me in a good way. Okay, so the next deck is Tarot de Saint-Croix. This deck challenged me as well, just because of the difference in the imagery. Like this one, like 4 of Pentacles is just a girl creating like buckets of sand, and not quite sure how to read that in relation to the Rider-Waite-Smith. See, 3 of Pentacles. See, like I often associate 3 of Pentacles as having to do with collaboration with other people, but some decks don't show that. I don't think the Textured Tarot shows it that way either. And when I got this, I was pretty early on in my tarot journey. But I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I think it's a gorgeous deck. And it's beautifully painted. And I love the colors, the bold colors. But for some reason, it challenged me. I don't know why. Like, just some of the cards just like challenged me, and I think it's just because I was new, and so it stretched me. It stretched my reading capabilities, which in a good way. I think mostly in a good way. And yeah, and so this is probably the deck that I started to learn how to read intuitively. And I remember when I got this deck, my husband bought me this deck right before we went away to camp, or rather glamp, at a Viking yurt. And it was at this Viking longhouse campground. And we like threw axes and drank mead and all that fun stuff. And that's what I associate this deck with. So it holds a wonderful place in my heart. Okay, the next one, deck 3 that challenged me. And that is the Hidden Realms. I mean, it's mostly portraiture. And so I didn't know, this was one of my first decks. And it was a gift from Nancy Texas Rose, who used to be on YouTube, and she's not anymore, and she just sent it to me out of the goodness of her heart. And I just had a really hard time reading with it because there's not a lot to go on. It's gorgeous. I love it. It's probably one of my nearest and dearest decks right now. But like, how do you read that in the Rider-Waite-Smith school of thought? Like, some of these, like Justice, she's just standing there with a sword staring at you. And the Hermit, 7 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords. See, this is different. You know, this is different. Like, usually in the 10 of Swords, it's someone with a bunch of swords in their back. This woman is raging. She is defensively raging. See, Death. Yeah, 10 of Wands. Like, how is this the 10 of Wands to look at it? And I don't have the guidebook. She didn't have the guidebook to send me. So that made it even more challenging. So yeah, that's the Hidden Realms. Okay. And the next one is a relatively recent one that I've gotten. I think I got it like a year and a half ago. And that is the Ritual Tarot. I haven't been showing the backs. My apologies. I need to get better at that. So yeah, the Ritual Tarot. And this is like collage writ large. It's a gorgeous deck. But the fact that it doesn't have the words on it, like the titles on it, really challenged me. It still challenges me. Like, I love this deck. I'd say this is one of my favorite decks. Well, I don't know. Like, it used to be one of my favorite decks. But as time goes on, I get more decks, and then some get, you know, pushed aside. This might have been pushed out of the top 10. Not sure. Not sure. I'll have to do another top 10, maybe at the end of the year. I'll do another top 10, see where I'm at. But it's gorgeous, stunning, so well done, so well thought out. And it's very evocative. I mean, look at that. It's so evocative. And yeah, I just, not having the words on it and having the pictures so different from the Rider-Waite-Smith. Like, I mean, if you pick up oh, there's 3 wands there, then you know it's the 3 of Wands. But sometimes it's not quite that obvious. Sometimes it's not quite that obvious. So yeah, that's the Ritual Tarot. So that challenged me in a good way. Excuse me, I'm putting this away. I have cards everywhere. Okay, the next one is 3 decks I would recommend to other people. Now this is a deck that I don't read with myself. And that's the Light Seers Tarot. It's so popular. It's very popular. And this is the mini version. And I got this because I just wanted to try, like, there are the backs. I wanted to try because everyone speaks so highly of it. But it's like reading an Old Navy clothing catalog for me. Everyone is just so beautiful. They're all so thin. They look like models. And that's fine for some cards. I could have a deck where a lot of the cards look like models, but there has to be something else going for it for me to be like, okay, I could overlook that. And I guess this one doesn't do it. Like it just sticks in my craw, that the fact that everyone just looks like models. And young ones, like most of them are young. Not all of them, but most of the people in the deck are very young. And I'm 47. I mean, I look younger than 47, but I'm 47. And so I don't relate to many of the people in this deck. Heck, I don't think I relate to anyone in this deck. Because, I mean, I'm not body beautiful. I'm not perfect. I don't look like a model. I'm not young. And it's a gorgeous deck. Like, aesthetically, I see it. I understand it. I understand the draw. And maybe one day I'll be able to overlook the things that I'm having trouble overlooking now. But it's an easy reader, and it's a compelling reader, and the imagery is very evocative. I mean, look at that 3 of Swords, and it's beautifully rendered, like beautifully drawn. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous deck, and I love the colors, and I love the modernity of it. I think the contemporariness of it, I think that would speak to a lot of people, which is why I would recommend it, especially to younger folk. Like if someone were young and getting into tarot, this is the deck I would pass on to them. Yeah, so that is the Light Seers Tarot. Okay, I'm already at 23 minutes. Jeez. Okay. So the second one that I would recommend is the Tarot de Marseille-Waite. Don't ask me to pronounce it in French because I can't do my R's, my French R's, for the life of me. But the reason I would recommend this is if someone is interested in the Rider-Waite-Smith, but they like the style of Marseille, then this is a great deck. Like the colors are very bold. The line work is on point. And it's just, it has its own style, but you can read it as a Rider-Waite-Smith. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith. And so if you're not into the original Rider-Waite-Smith, I might recommend this one because the colors are more muted. It's colorful, but muted. You know, it doesn't have that garishness that some of the Rider-Waite-Smith decks, like some of the early ones, have. And yeah, I just think it's beautifully done. And I have to say, like one of my supervisors, he saw me playing with my cards, and he was like, "Oh, can I look?" And so he started flipping through, and he's like, "Ooh, I see a booby." Oh my God, it cracked me up. But anyway, so yeah, I would recommend this deck. For people who want to read Rider-Waite-Smith but don't like the original artwork, but still like that old style of the Rider-Waite-Smith. Okay, next one that I would recommend is one of my favorite decks, is the Super Lunaris. This probably, ooh, damn it. This probably would stay in my top 10 from the last time I showed it. I think it's gorgeous. I love the everydayness of it. And just I like the diversity of it. I like the showing like normal, everyday situations with a lot of the cards. And I love the coloring of it. And it's very approachable. I find it like similar to the Light Seers. It's very approachable. And it really sort of contextualizes a lot of the meanings of the Rider-Waite-Smith into maybe a more approachable, understandable context. And that's what I like about it. And you can get intuitive hits as well over in some of the cards, because they might not be exactly, it's not like a clone. So yeah, gorgeous. Look at that card. And there's like a diversity of ages as well, which I love, unlike the Light Seers. So yeah, so that is Super Lunaris. Okay, number two is 2 decks that you feel like were made for you. The Bound Tarot. Just putting it out there. These are the backs. So yeah, the Bound Tarot, which is based on the Japanese bondage art form shibari, and it's a kinky deck, so it shows, kink, so it shows different implements and whatnot, so like crops are the wands, and yeah, and a lot of gas masks, and I just love it, and different body styles, which I really like. Can't tell how old anyone is, which is cool. But yeah, this deck was probably made for me. Yeah, I think so. Like I'm not a I don't know what you call it, a rope top is what you would call it. Like I am not a rope top. I can't do rope to save my life. So I am not a rope person. I'm not a rope top. I'm not a rope bottom. Let me correct myself. Back up. I am a rope bottom, but I wouldn't call myself an expert at it. If I do shibari, I bottom for it. And that means you're the one being tied. And it's fun. It's so fun. It's meditative. It's like someone starts tying you up, and me with ADHD, that is one of the few times when I am able to just be, is when I'm sitting there and someone is tying me in intricate knots. And it takes a while, like the whole intricacy of it. And then if you do suspension, they'll lift you up and hang you at varying degrees and angles. And it's intense. It's intense, but it's also meditative. It's hard to explain. It's challenging. It can be very challenging, especially depending on the kind of rope that is used. Like some rope is really coarse. There's a rope called coconut rope that is extremely coarse, and it can cut you. And that may not be everyone's cup of tea. I totally get it. But there's something cathartic about the whole process of doing shibari. You're having a bad day, and you're just looking to relax into it, there's a style of shibari for that. If you're looking to be challenged and exhilarated, there's a style of shibari for that. So, yeah, like there's whole different styles. Like the one that's like really painful is called Seminawa. And that is for, you know, really challenging yourself. It's challenging the bottom and whatnot. So, okay, where's the box? That's the Bound Tarot. Sorry. I'm going to just keep doing that until I get used to it. Okay, so the next one that was made for me, the Goddess of Love Tarot. Big box. Ugh. And I'm not a huge romantic person. I'm not. These are the backs. I like romance. But this is more, this isn't just about romance, this deck. This is also about, you know, sexual liberation. And so considering I spent so much of my life being sexually repressed, and then entering like my mid 40s and that all changing, it came into my life at the same moment that I needed it. And this really, and that's Freya, one of the goddesses I work with. And it's very empowering. It's very much about the sacred feminine in the female form, and or you know, yeah, it's all about that sacred feminine empowerment and being empowered by your sexuality instead of embarrassed by it or like feeling ashamed of it or like it needs to be repressed or it makes other people uncomfortable to talk about it. And I understand there's a time and place to talk about sex and sexuality. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the kind of person that will bring it up in a work meeting. But I think our society has this very unhealthy relationship with sexuality, specifically women's sexuality, where basically you have the whore and the virgin. And a lot of times men want both, but they sort of toxically expect both from women, but they disrespect each stereotype in their own way, and it's just so unhealthy. So I think this deck has really opened my eyes to ways of reading tarot as it relates to sexuality. And since it came into my life right when I was really doing some hard work on bodily shame and sexuality and whatnot and my own sexual liberation, it was meant for me. Okay, so that was 2. On to 1. A deck that you can't shut up about. I'd say the Lioness Oracle Tarot. I can't say there's any deck I literally can't shut up about, but I love this deck. This is one of my newer ones to my collection, and it's a big one. It's a big deck. I can barely get my hands around it, but I can. So yeah, this is another collage deck, and I definitely have really gotten the collage bug. I'm not I don't buy a ton of decks. I don't really have the financial wherewithal to buy the decks that I want and do the traveling I want and do the investments that I want. So oftentimes my deck buying gets put on the wayside, unfortunately. But I love decks. I love them. I love collage decks. And I love this one. I love the celestial feel to it. I love the roses and the flowers and the cats. Look at all the cats, you know, like I love cats. I have 5 cats. So why would I not love a deck that has a lot of cats in it? So yeah, and I love, you know, just the choices that the artist made. Who is the artist? Alejandra Leon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's just, I mean, stunning. It's like so sharp. Like, look how sharp that image is. images, and it's just beautiful. Like, I don't know how else to put collage decks, to be honest. It's just, they're beautiful. They either are or they're not. They either tickle your fancy or they don't. And this one tickles my fancy, and I don't know how else to put it. But I'm obsessed with it. And like, look at that. Look at those colors. And I don't think I've read with anyone else with this deck yet. I don't know if I ever will. But we'll see. We'll see. But I love it. Nothing more to say than that. I love it. I love the mix of art and celestial things and cats and all the fun stuff. So I almost could put that in the last category, decks that were made for me, because I mean, you know, cats. Okay, well that's it. Thank you for sticking around if you've stayed this long, and I will see you again on another video. Bye-bye.